Alrighty, folks, we are live. Welcome. Fantastic, great to be on this late Wednesday evening, probably Thursday morning by the time you're watching this. Welcome back, everyone. Great to be on. We do have some breaking news in regards to Social Security. So let's get started in just a moment here. We'll let the YouTube algorithm kick in, and we will get started in just a moment. Quick sound check on my end. All right, we have some people hopping on. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you on. Alrighty, folks, we do have some people hopping on. Welcome aboard. It is late Wednesday evening, early Thursday morning. There we go. YouTube algorithm kicking in a lot. Welcome, everyone. So great to have you on. And we have some breaking news in regards to Social Security. Social Security has been making rounds in the headlines all over the news because it has been all-out warfare, if you didn't see yet by the title of this live stream. And you have people, politicians, and some very high figures from both sides going all out. Yes, we do sound good. Alrighty. So we have some top names, some of the biggest names, frankly, on the planet, and they are just destroying each other in regards to Social Security, bashing each other, making claims, accusations, and totally making the argument for the other side why you should not vote for them and why you should vote for me. So what is going on? And we also had some blunders as well from the presidency and the White House. So that's certainly breaking news in Social Security. So much Social Security news to cover. We'll try to make this live as short as possible. So let's get started without further ado. So make sure you guys go ahead and smash the like button. I'd appreciate that. If this live stream gets to 500 likes, we'll do a cash giveaway where we give away $100 to a few of you lucky subscribers. If you haven't already, make sure that you are subscribed and have notifications turned on. We are so close to 20,000 subscribers, inching there every single solitary day, and I appreciate all of your support. And once we get 20,000 subscribers, we will do a big cash giveaway where we give away double the amount of cash that we gave away 10K. So you're going to make sure that you are subscribed for that, and make sure that you have notifications turned on. That could be maybe by the end of this week or early next week. At the pace that we're going, I think we can hit 20K very soon. So make sure you are subscribed and share my videos, comment on them, like them. Make sure you guys keep doing that, and I appreciate your support so much. So what exactly is going on? So I think we should first start with this blunder, this mistake that the president made, or at least his team and staff made on his behalf. Basically, there was a tweet where Biden claimed credit for the Social Security payment increase, and that tweet later came down with no explanation from the White House. This was a big mistake on Biden's part. Essentially, this tweet credited President Biden's leadership for the increase in Social Security payments. That was flagged by Twitter, which, as you know, is now owned by Elon Musk, as something that was actually caused by a 40-year high in inflation. The White House had tweeted this week, quote, "Seniors are getting the biggest increase in their Social Security checks in 10 years through President Biden's leadership." As we know, that is certainly not the case whatsoever. Biden has zero say in what those payments will ultimately be. Now, could Biden's actions and his doing or wrongdoing, for that matter, lead to higher inflation and therefore lead to higher Social Security payments? Sure. There is certainly an indirect tie that you can make there. There is a connection. But it's not like Biden sat down and signed a piece of legislation or an executive order stating that Social Security payments should be higher. That is not something the president has any power to do and has zero say in. That is solely, as we know, based on the COLA adjustments and inflation and what those indices look like and what the data from labor statistics, that we see every single month. Ultimately, what that data points to is what ultimately causes your higher Social Security payments. So Biden had zero say in that. It was not his doing. We shouldn't give him praise. In fact, we should actually perhaps boo him for this high inflation. If you do believe that he has some stake in the inflation and certainly has contributed to it, then In fact, it's the complete opposite. It's a total antithesis. We should actually be bashing Biden for the higher Social Security payments, not praising him. So that's just something to keep in mind. And whenever you see anything online, whenever you see a tweet from any politician, whenever you see a article, always take it with a grain of salt. Make sure that you do your research. Don't just read a headline. Don't just read a 5-word sentence, that's put out there by some talking head and believe it right off the bat. Always do your research, do your due diligence. That is so important. And this is just another case. And the White House tweet was accompanied by a note from Twitter that said many readers were adding context to the White House message that said the rise in Social Security payments were due to the annual cost of living adjustment, which is based on the inflation rate, as we talked about. So Twitter adds context notes when they are rated highly enough by Twitter users, a point that Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, has stressed this week. And Musk said that the community notes feature is awesome. Our goal is to make Twitter the most accurate source of information on Earth without regard to political affiliation. And I think Elon Musk is doing a good job so far with Twitter. Certainly he has put a lot more of those flags and context notes on politicians that might perhaps lean towards the left and the Democratic side, where maybe you didn't necessarily see those context notes as much before on left-leaning politicians. So I think you're seeing a more balanced, fair Twitter so far in this embryonic stage that Elon Musk is in with Twitter. He just bought it, so we'll see what happens in the coming years, how it ultimately develops and plays out. Certainly many people, many high figures, all the blue check marks are leaving Twitter right now because of Elon Musk's ownership, and also talks that he does want to add a subscription fee if you are a blue check mark, if you are a verified account on Twitter. He does want to add a subscription fee for using Twitter, $20 a month, and I think some big celebrities have already made the decision to leave Twitter, and that's certainly wreaking havoc online and creating a frenzy. And people are going stir crazy right now with this acquisition. But we're not talking about Twitter necessarily in this live. We're talking about Social Security. But just interesting how Elon Musk's purchase has already affected a Social Security tweet from the president and the White House. So just something to keep an eye on. But that was just a small percentage of what's going on in Social Security news, guys. That was just the start. I don't know if you saw this speech from former President Barack Obama, but it got fiery. It got wild. And he pulled no punches when it came to bashing Ron Johnson and advocating for the Democrat in Wisconsin. So he really went all out on Ron Johnson. He said that Ron Johnson wants to take away your Social Security benefits. He said that your parents and grandparents are on Social Security and they worked hard. They broke their backs, worked long hours, and that they're absolutely entitled to their Social Security benefits, and that Ron Johnson wants to make the spending discretionary. And, Obama maybe did go a bit far. He didn't necessarily give all the context. Ron Johnson has not literally said he wants to take away Social Security benefits, but he has said that he wants to make the funding discretionary and up for debate every year on an annual basis, which could ultimately lead to benefit cuts, or maybe in an extreme scenario, if Republicans took total control of the Congress and the presidency, that could lead to zero benefits. That would certainly be a stretch. I don't think we're going to ever see that, at least in your lifetime. But, that speech was very fiery, and it definitely caused another stir in regards to Social Security and this ongoing saga as well with Ron Johnson. Seems to never end, and he keeps seeming to have to defend himself. And I'm sure he wants to put those comments that he made months ago behind him and past him and just move on with the election. But it seems like the left and the Democrats keep wanting to bring up those comments and Ron Johnson's view on Social Security. They keep bringing it up and making it an ongoing, persistent issue. And I'm sure Ron Johnson is not a fan of that, and he just wishes this would go away. But surely those comments came right out of his mouth, so he has to take responsibility and own up to those comments for sure. So Ron Johnson then responded to President Barack Obama. He defended his stance on Social Security during a campaign stop this week after the president criticized Johnson on the issue during his visit to Wisconsin over the weekend. Johnson maintained that he does not want to cut Social Security as Mr. Obama joined the chorus of Democrats accusing the Republican of wanting to put Social Security on the chopping block. Ron Johnson told supporters in Portage, President Obama lied about me. He said I wanted to put it on the chopping block or cut or end Social Security. I never said that. I never would. Of course, Democrats have seized upon the opportunity on Johnson's push to make Social Security a discretionary program, and currently the program is mandatory and Congress cannot make changes to it. So as a discretionary program, Social Security would be subject to review each year during the budget process. Democrats, including Obama, have slammed Johnson over his proposal to make cuts to Social Security even possible. So Obama said specifically, quote, at a rally in Milwaukee, quote, retirees had long hours and sore backs and bad knees to get that Social Security. If Ron Johnson does not understand that, if he understands giving tax breaks for private planes more than understands making sure that seniors who've worked all their lives are able to retire with dignity and respect, he's not the person who's thinking about you and knows you and sees you. That speech was arguably one of Obama's harshest and most fiery speeches that he's given, at least in recent memory. If you really watch that speech, he was truly passionate about this issue and this topic, and it sounded like it really came from the heart, like a guttural response to this issue here. I mean, truly a visceral speech. I would encourage you to watch it no matter what side of the aisle that you're on, and I think he really made the case for not voting for Ron Johnson and keeping him in office. So Obama was certainly passionate about that, and the crowd responded, in similarity, and they definitely, in solidarity rather, with Obama, and they share the same sentiment as the former president. They really agree with him, and they were cheering loudly, and I don't think that crowd, anyone in that crowd, has any second thoughts about voting for Ron Johnson, as in not voting for him. So I think, if you look at it, I think Ron Johnson's going to have a tough time. I think he's probably going to lose this election, and he probably will be a lame duck, sitting senator that will eventually be out of office the following year, come the following inauguration in January, when the next senator is ultimately put in office. It's not looking good for Ron Johnson. Those comments just keep coming back to haunt him, and he cannot erase them. They were permanent, and I'm sure if you guys live in Wisconsin, I'm curious if you're seeing those comments plastered in that podcast, or I think it was a radio show that he was on. We played it on the channel a few times. I'm curious if you guys keep seeing that advertisement and again. I wonder if you guys, get those comments played on your TV all the time. If you live in Wisconsin, I'm just curious if, those talking points are hammered into your head now, and you can pretty much know them verbatim, word for word at this point. I'm just curious if you're seeing those ads and if they're making that a big priority and a big part of the campaign. So Johnson said that he wants to save Social Security. He says that we have to start prioritizing spending. We can't keep wasting money. It's a top priority. So Johnson is trying to walk back on those comments, trying to rewrite history a bit of what he exactly said. If you watch that speech, or rather the podcast or radio show where he was on and talked about Social Security, I think it sounded a bit more harsh on Social Security, and I think now he's trying to make those comments seem a little bit more delicate and softer. So Johnson's having a tough time again, and we'll just have to see what happens. The midterm elections are now just less than a week away at this point. So make sure you guys vote. That is so important, no matter which side of the aisle that you do fall on. Make sure you guys get out there and vote if you haven't already. And there's so many elections happening across this country, not in just Wisconsin, of course. So many, rank and file elections happening, whether it's just a local small election in your city or town, and then you have obviously all the way up to the Senate and the Congress. So many elections happening. Make sure that you make your voice heard and make sure that you vote. I think this is one of the most critical, monumental midterm elections that we're seeing in our history, especially with the current administration, with so many Americans unhappy. I haven't checked Biden's approval ratings recently, but I think they have ticked up slightly based on some current recent actions that he's taken, more targeted towards lower income people. We've talked about student loans. We talked about what he did with marijuana. We talked about some of the executive actions that he's taken, and some of the speeches that he's made railing against issues. We just talked about those junk fees. That was most recently in regards to banks and other products and services that have these junk fees and surprise fees. We talked about that. That was a big issue that President Biden made on the campaign trail. So I think Biden's doing a good job as far as targeting lower income people and trying to make the case to keep him in office and keep the Democrats in control of the Congress. I think Biden has really made the case and has started to pick up the pace a little bit with his actions, but time will only tell. And of course, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't predict exactly, but it will certainly be an interesting midterm election, and we'll have a lot of election coverage in the coming days. So stay tuned and make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on. That is so important. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just interesting seeing Social Security in the news right before the midterms, and it will be a big point in this election. It will certainly be a big issue, and I think a lot of voters, probably more so, our seniors and elderly and disabled, I think that demographic is surely going to make it more of an issue when they go to the ballot box and cast their vote. And then obviously the younger people will probably take into consideration what Biden has recently done in regards to student loans. That's certainly a big point. And I think, maybe the case for Democrats is if you guys keep us in office, we'll do more for you, and we'll do more for the lower income and more for your debt. Maybe we'll erase more debt. So interesting here what you're seeing right now. So many cases on either side. The advertisements are nonstop 24/7. I think you're all over social media. You're on YouTube, Instagram, just TV, anywhere. Nonstop advertising. I think in any city that you live in this country, they're really racking up the spending on advertising this midterm elections. I think this is going to be one of the most critical, important midterm elections in our lifetime. So with that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. And hope you learned something. Hope you understand what is going on. If you did, go ahead and smash the like button. I'd appreciate that. Make sure you are subscribed again. If you guys want to get some free stocks, all mail free, use the links down below in the description of this video. Sign up with the brokerage platforms or Robinhood and or Webull. You'll get some free stocks, some of them valued to thousands of dollars in some cases. So let us know what stocks you get. And if you guys want to connect me on social media, I am on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook. Use the social links down below in the description. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take care for now, and enjoy your evening.